So we're gonna check this trail camera. What is that? Look at its tail. It's literally straight like the Tassie tigers were. Sitting where I am right now, you can just imagine that 80 or 90 years ago, there would have been tigers here and they would have been hunting in this exact paddock. No way, look at this. So that's the top of the skull. This might be a good place to look for tracks. What is that? There's claw marks at the front. So I am currently by myself deep in the southwest of Tasmania, following recent reports of the believed to be extinct Tasmanian tiger. And over the next 3 days, I'm going to attempt to track one down. If you don't know what a Tasmanian tiger is, it's an animal that used to thrive all across Australia, especially here in the forests of Tasmania. But after being hunted heavily throughout the 18 and 1900s, the last Tasmanian tiger died in captivity in 1936, and they haven't been seen since. But are they really gone? Last week, I interviewed a lady who saw a Tasmanian tiger in 1972, 40 years after the last one was seen.
Okay, so we were living in this town called Medina, which is between New Norfolk and Strathgordon. And Strathgordon is on the way, you go past Lake Pedder. So it's deep into the southwest of Tassie. And 50 years ago, we lived up in the scrub, up on the hill in Medina, away from everybody, no houses. It was a winter, it was a flaming freezing, all but snowing night. Wind was blowing, it was howling, and we had a little pup, golden lab, and this little pup just was going off its tree, literally freaking out. And over the kitchen sink was a small window with the latch that you opened out. And Bruce said, "Oh, what on earth's that dog barking at?" And I opened the window. I said, "Oh, there's a weird looking dog out there." He said, "What do you mean a weird looking dog?" And I said, "Well, it's got this weird tail. Its tail was straight and it had stripes on its back." And Bruce shot up like a... And by the time Bruce got up, this thing was sauntering. It was up a bit of a driveway, was on a bit of a rise, and the bush is directly behind us. We're surrounded by bush. And it just sauntered. No fastness, just sauntered back up our driveway and disappeared into the bush. It was a blizzard, and this mountain range behind us, that's what I want to tell you, was called the Tiger Range.
So how long ago was that?
51 years ago.
1972,
right. So
living in
long after that one.
It's long after it. It is long after it, but they're such an elusive creature that they will just live in obscurity for, and who knows how long. You know, they're not seen.
Yeah. I think the best case scenario would be there's a small population of these tigers living out in the forests of Tasmania away from humans. And that's why I've come here today. We're going to be going on a bit of a solo expedition over the next 3 days and attempting to track down one of these thylacines. Wish me luck, it's going to be a crazy adventure, but I've got a few things to help me out with this search. All right, let me show you what I've brought in my backpack for this expedition. So we're camped about 2 kilometers away. I'm walking from camp every morning to get to some better ground. Probably the most important tool that I've brought with me to try and get one of these thylacines on camera is this right here, and we've got a couple of them. Game camera traps, motion activated. So you'll strap it to a tree just like that, and when something walks in front of it, it will start filming and get whatever it is that walked in front of it on camera. I'm going to set these out in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna walk as far as I can out into the bush, and yeah, we'll see if we can get a Tasmanian tiger on camera with one of these. I got a head torch, Gonna be using this after it gets dark. It's not only Tassie tigers that I'm looking for out here. There's so many other cool animals that I'd love to get up close to the camera, and nighttime's probably the best time to go look for them because a lot of them come out. Got a good pair of binoculars. These Tassie tigers, when they used to hunt in wide open fields, and there's a lot of big mountain ranges around here. So what I thought I'd do is I'd find a place where there's a lot of game, and later on today I'll climb up to one of the big hills, sit there and wait, because I'm not happy just getting a Tassie tiger on camera. I want to get it hunting. Crazier things have happened. And then of course I've got all my camera gear and obviously my setup back at camp, which I'm gonna be going back to later on. I know it's crazy, but you gotta be open-minded when you're looking for something like this. And I'm having so much fun putting myself into that mind frame of these thylacines could still exist out here in an area like this. I don't come down to Tasmania a lot, so I'm gonna put as much effort in to find one of these thylacines as I can. But yeah, let's get this mission started. No way. Look at this. Animal bones. What is that? So we've just come across some animal bones. Now, I was asking my mate Rob the other week, why don't people ever find remains of Tasmanian tigers? And this is what he said. Why aren't there any bones or remains found from these thylacines? I've never heard of anyone finding a skull or...
That's true. I mean, it's the same reason that they never found any of the convicts who tried to escape from Macquarie Harbour, you know, because we've got the Tassie devils, and they'll eat the meat, and then they'll even dissolve all the bones. They'll chew it all up.
We saw firsthand in this video actually Tasmanian devils ripping apart a wallaby carcass, and they left nothing, no bones. So if a Tasmanian tiger did die out there, there's no way they're going to let that go to waste.
No.
Yeah. So that's the top of the skull, just like that. Now what I think this is I think it's a wombat. Sadly it's not a Tasmanian tiger, but you can see the teeth just in there. That's a dead giveaway. It would have been a herbivore out here eating grass, and we've seen how many wombats are out here in the paddock. But finding animal bones like this might mean that there's a chance that there are Tassie tiger bones around here somewhere. Well, there would be, but it's been a long time since they were in good numbers in this area, so finding them would be a different story. Still pretty cool though. On the hunt for Tassie tigers, and we're finding some cool things. Let's keep going. Now this area right here is prime country that these Tasmanian tigers used to hunt in. Now you can see there's a bit of a tree line behind me, and what these tigers would have been doing is sitting up on here and looking out here into this clear field, looking for its prey, which would have been wallabies, wombats. And walking through this field right now, I'm finding so many wombat droppings, which means if there is a small population of tigers that live out here, an area like this is good. Good hunting grounds, good source of food. And this area, the southwest of Tassie, was probably the place that these tigers were least hunted here in Tasmania, because before they were protected, it was a very inaccessible place. It was easier to get tigers from different locations. Sitting where I am right now, you can just imagine that 80 or 90 years ago, there would have been tigers here, and they would have been hunting in this exact paddock. Now, when I was interviewing my mate Rob last week, he actually told me that over in WA, about 20 or 30 years ago, there was a Tasmanian tiger found fossilized inside a cave.
You know that one that they found in the cave over in Western Australia?
Thylacine.
Yeah, they found like it was only, it might have been in the 80s or 90s. It was a full thylacine that they found, like mummified corpse of a thylacine that had, like, I don't know, it had either fallen in there or it had gone off into this cave to die.
So there could be some preserved around Tassie, or there probably is in caves maybe.
In caves maybe, yeah. I don't see why not. It'd be the best bet to find one preserved. It'd have to be, because anywhere else, like, nature kind of takes its toll on the carcass, and it'd have to be out of reach for the devils too. So it'd have to be a very rare spot. It's possible. Yeah. Anything's possible, man. Like, we've got a lot of caves in Tassie and a lot of remote areas. there'd be so much stuff hidden up there that no one knows about.
In an area like this where there's so many mountains around us, so many caves, that's where I reckon these tigers might be living. Staying up in those caves during the day and sleeping, and then after dark coming down here and going hunting. So about 1 kilometer over that way, through this bush and a couple more grassy plains, there's a big mountain. So we're gonna hike up there, see if we can find any caves that these tigers might be sleeping in. Before we head up there, I'm gonna find a place to set up these camera traps. So we're gonna check this trail camera that we set up last night to see if we got anything on it. 6 videos. So this trail camera went off 6 times throughout the night. Something went in front of it. Number 1. What is that? Look at its tail. It's literally straight like the Tassie tigers were. Come back into shot. It could be a quoll, but that's pretty cool. The first thing on the camera. And yeah, there we go. It's a quoll just cruising around in front of the camera. That's still so cool to get one of these guys on camera out here in the wild. It would have been the biggest fluke ever if the first thing I got on the game camera was a Tassie tiger. We got some more videos of the quoll just wandering around doing quoll-like activities. Crazy, pretty cool. Let's keep going. So the first part of this mission is to find some ground that people haven't been to in years, preferably. And I'm on the right track. I'm walking through some pretty crazy environment. It's going from grass plains to thick forest. And this is exactly where I want to be setting up these camera traps. This area looks really good. This whole path's flattened out, same as this area. Means animals are coming through here. Now I love animals, as you'd know. And I love educating people about the ones that are alive, because I think we need to focus on them. They're the ones that need our help. But there's something so intriguing about this thylacine situation. As sad as it is, they could still be out there. Since they went extinct, there's been thousands of sightings to this day of thylacines across the coast of Tasmania. And there's places here in Tassie where people haven't actually explored in decades since these thylacines were still around. So how do we know that they're extinct? But either way, I'm still so happy that I'm out here on this land over here in Tassie. And what a cool trip it's been so far. If you didn't see part 1 of this adventure, we went out and talked to a heap of people who know a lot more about these animals than I do. That's up on my channel, and if you like this and want to support me, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Plenty more cool adventures coming soon. This might be a good place to look for tracks. Here we go. Wallaby, wombat. What is that? There's claw marks at the front. Just over here, a little wombat burrow. I wonder if he's home. One of the amazing things that happens when bushfires sweep through an area is all the animals will know that they're gonna die if they don't get to cover. So they'll all go down into a little wombat hole until the fire's gone, making a temporary agreement not to kill each other. There'll be snakes, echidnas, wombats, all sorts of animals down there when the fire's coming through. So we've just hiked up this massive mountain, and I'm just keeping my eyes out down there. That area looks really nice. There's heaps of forest which pushes all the way back up into the mountain, and up in that mountain there would be caves, there would be places for these animals to take shelter. But it's really misty. The weather is not on our side over the next few days, but I got my binoculars. There's a few wombats grazing down in the paddock down there. the late afternoon at the moment. This has been a really good day of prepping everything, getting the camera trap set, scouting some ground. So I think what I'm gonna do after this, I'm gonna head back down to camp, set up for the night, come back out here and see what animals we can find after dark. I think the plan for tomorrow is hike up into those mountains right there and see what's living up in that area. I might even set the trail cameras up in there tomorrow night. I don't think anyone would have been up in those mountains for a long period of time, and it's got everything that a tiger needs. Let's head back to camp and go for a night walk though. So we've just come for a walk out in this little field at night, looking for some Tassie tigers and pretty much whatever we can find. And we found a little wombat right here. He doesn't seem to be too bothered by me. He's just grazing out in this paddock. But how cool is that? Little wombat. Hey mate. All right, day 2 at the moment. Pretty awesome night last night exploring, finding those animals. What we're gonna do now is we're heading to the game camera traps. The first camera trap is just over there. I'm so keen. Hopefully we've got a little thyla. All right, we'll check it. This thing got saturated last night. This is my last chance in this place to find a thylacine. If I don't get one here, I'm not gonna be coming back. Fingers crossed. Let's see what's on the camera. So throughout the few weeks that I've had here in Tasmania, learning about these thylacines and trying to track one down really made me question if I would put it in the video if I did get one on camera. And I don't think I would. Definitely not just in a video like this anyways. But this has been so amazing. I'm so happy I got to spend some time here in Tasmania. I wish I could stay longer, but I'll definitely be back. I'm already talking to my mate Rob, who's done some expeditions looking for these tigers, and we're planning to go back to the southwest along the coast after winter to try and track one of these guys down. This has been a really cool 2-part series though of looking for the thylacine here in Tasmania. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you legends next week in the next adventure. Cheers. I still have to check that last camera trap though.